Hey, what's up? This is Dr. Richa, and today we are going to talk about one of the most important factors which contributes towards causing cavities, and that is bacteria. Now, see, bacteria is present in everyone's mouth in the dental plaque, and there are hundreds of such bacteria that are present. But the thing to know is that the bacteria which can cause cavities in your mouth are less than 1% of the total flora in your dental plaque. Now, dental plaque is a sticky film or a sticky coating that covers all your teeth surfaces and it contains certain bacteria. But the cavity causing bacteria are less than 1% of the total flora in your dental plaque. And an interesting thing is that those with good oral hygiene have less than 0.1% of these bacteria. So that is a very good incentive for you to maintain good oral hygiene. Now, to talk more about these bacteria, let's take an example of the most commonly found one, and that is your strep mutans. Now, what strep mutans does is as soon as you eat, the bacteria eats. That we have talked about a lot in my previous video. Once it eats, one strep mutant splits into two. This is how it reproduces, and each one in turn splits into more, and thus you have more amount of strep mutants, more acid each one produces, and more acid, so more your tooth mineral is going to dissolve. So what we have to do is reduce the bacterial load in your mouth. Now, the interesting thing about strep mutans is that it is present literally in everyone's mouth. Yes, but that doesn't mean that everyone has got cavities in their teeth. It just means that this certain bacteria is there in your mouth. To have cavities, like we have discussed and we are still discussing, there are a host of other factors which all contribute, not just one of them. Now, another most commonly found bacteria is Strep sobrimus. Interesting thing about Strep sobrimus is that it is present in those people who have a very high risk of caries. So if you have a lot of cavities, a lot of things going on in your mouth, then most probably you are going to have Strep sobrimus in your mouth. It is a very virulent one, and strep mutants and both Strep sobrimus are both acid producing, and the thing is that they also live in that acid. The next most commonly found bacteria is lactobacilli, and lactobacilli produces lactic acid. Again, it is one of the strongest acids present. So these are in general the most commonly found bacteria in your dental plaque, which is there within your mouth. And each one in turn feeds on carbs, produces acids. So to reduce this, we have to limit how much food we are feeding these bacteria, or the number of fermentable carbohydrates we are feeding this bacteria, and in turn then they won't get their food and that much acid won't be produced. You must remember that when you get your cavities filled, you are not actually reducing the bacterial load in your mouth. You are just treating one aspect of this disease, but you're not treating the entire disease itself. To treat the entire disease, there are many other things that you have to do, which is including antibacterials, fluoride treatment, and yes, getting your cavities filled. Now, the thing with strep mutants, or the startling thing about strep mutants, that is that it is a transmissible one. In general, dental caries is a transmissible disease. So yes, it can spread from one person to another, and the commonest route of strep mutants spreading from one person to another is from a mother to a child. Mothers, if they use a pacifier, they clean it with their mouth and then they give it to the child. Most common route is child to child in a play school, or when a few kids are playing together, one of them picks up a toy, licks it, passes on to the other one puts it in his mouth, keeps it. That is how this bacteria spreads. So this was about bacterial transmission, and what we can do to prevent this is not share anything, any food or any toy with others, and encourage children to not do such behavior. And you also have to get yourself treated first, and you have to reduce the bacterial load in your mouth. I hope that was helpful for you, and we'll talk about some interesting topics in my next video.